Am you ready?
I am.
Preston, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I will call the regular Ridgway Town Council meeting of, what is it, May 14th, 2025 to order. And ask for the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Scrambley is not present. Berger. Here. Montague. Here. Schuyler.
Here.
Scoville. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Lakin. Here. Mayor Clark.
Here. Thank you very much. That meeting brings us to additions and deletions to the agenda and or are there any? You got anything, Pam?
I have none.
I have one, yes, Mayor. So we can add one item at the end of the agenda to discuss scheduling a special meeting the week of May 26th to get direction on a concept level diversion alternative to move forward with the Beaver Creek diversion point. That would be great.
Okay. Please remind me when we get to that point in the agenda. Anything else? Hearing none, we will move on to adoption of the consent calendar. As usual, there's a bunch of minutes and things on there and a liquor license renewal for Ridgway Liquors. Anything anybody wants to pull off?
I move to approve the consent calendar. Second.
All right, motion by Beth, second by Polly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimously, thank you. That takes us to public comments. Establish time on the agenda for people to talk about things that aren't already on the agenda. Come on up, Ruth.
Ruth Stewart, I live at 641 Charles, and I'd like to speak briefly on the topic of the potential eminent domain for the walk-through area that goes from River Park to the high school. I have to say that reading that in the paper was incredibly disheartening, and I cannot believe that it's even being entertained. We're talking about high school aged kids walking 3 additional blocks to high school along sidewalks in a pretty dang safe town. That the town would even consider using eminent domain to take private property from a property owner in what seems to me an oversight from the town that they didn't request that to be platted into that subdivision when it was built is an incredible government overreach. And I'm flabbergasted that it's even being brought up. That's really what I have to say about that.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing. It's been in the works a long time, so there was a lot of discussion leading up to it. So it's not like we're taking it lightly, but I understand your concerns.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? Okay, that takes us to policy matters. First one is item number 6, presentation request adoption.
Hello.
Hello.
I just wanted to say that I 100% agree with what she just said. I can't believe that the town would do something like that, and it is insane government overreach.
Who is
So
this?
just wanted to agree. This is Charlie.
Charlie who?
Scott?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I hope you heard my response. We haven't taken it lightly. I certainly understand your position and Ruth's position, but something that's been in the works for, I think, over a year now, close to a year. And, you know, it was brought up because of a citizen asking us to do it. So again, it's just a classic case of local government having a lot of different approaches, ways to do things. And certainly were opportunities to speak up earlier. So thank you for your opinion though. All right, back to the agenda, item number 6. Policy matters, presentation and requested adoption of the Ridgway County Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Glenn, you're on.
Hey guys, we do have a PowerPoint I think Preston's going to share here. I'll try and be brief. This is one of the last times you have to see me for a couple of years. We're bringing up the multi-hazard mitigation plan and then we'll be done for a little while. Okay. So
I think you were doing your last presentation without the
yep.
slides, weren't you, if I recall?
That's right. So Again, this is the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. This is an update to the plan, but it's essentially a rewrite of the plan. Our last Community Wildfire Protection Plan was June of 2011. And so this was long overdue for an update. We contracted with JEO, who also did our evacuation plan. The city, town, and county went together to put this plan together. So, why does it matter? What's the importance of the plan? This plan is crucial because the wildfire threat, it highlights the wildfire threats. It's, as you guys all know, with the change in the conditions around here, the wildfire threats increasing consistently. Our CWPP provides a strategic and community-driven mitigation planning. And adoption means access to federal when they're available and state and local funds for technical support and mitigation support. So the plan highlights a lot of the community vulnerability, from social vulnerability, how social vulnerability affects evacuation, recovery, and resilience. It talks about the mix of full-time and seasonal populations, and it identifies vulnerable zones to focus mitigation efforts. So it's for those that have been involved, Mayor Clark's been involved, and Preston's been, and Shane's been involved in a lot of the meetings for this. This was a multi-agency, multi-stakeholder collaboration. This plan wasn't done lightly. It was made with a collaboration with the Forest Service, BLM, state, local, federal partners. We had 4 public meetings we had 266 resident surveys response to our surveys for writing the plan. The plan, we met together and did the risk management mapping. And it also has a story map to it, an online story map assisted by County GIS. It's been a long day. I'm sorry if it sounds choppy. Okay. So the goals of the plan is fire resilient landscaping, fire adapted communities, and safe and efficient wildfire response plan. Some of the risk values and analysis is a custom wildfire map was developed through local feedback. It assesses fire instability, burn probabilities, and watershed risks. This is where the watershed is where the plan is significantly different from the old plan, is they took into account of the watershed, which is great, and the protection of the watershed. It prioritizes areas near critical infrastructure and population centers, and it identifies values to protect, such as human life, water, and infrastructure. It talks a lot about the fuel treatment and action planning. We'll go ahead and skip over that. And then really, why are we here today? You guys probably have a chance to read the plan, if not, hopefully at least have an idea of it, but why do we adopt this plan? So it aligns with the town planning and mitigation projects with county rights strategies. It enables funding eligibility for local mitigation and preparedness grants. It increases readiness and interagency coordination before a fire season. And it shows proactive governance and protecting people, property, water systems. So essentially this plan, without this plan in place, there's a lot of mitigation grants and fire grants that we can't get. This plan has to be within 5 years of adoption to be eligible for most of those Forest Service mitigation grants, and even some of the Colorado BLM grants, and including a lot of the mitigation efforts that we've identified in the multi-hazard mitigation plan. So that's why it's so crucial. So what comes next? We have the formal adoption by you guys tonight. The city of Ridgway, it's on their agenda for Monday, the 19th, and it's on BOCC's agenda for Tuesday, the 20th. This plan was written through a federal grant and wildfire defense grant. And that grant expires June 1st. So we have to have adoption by June 1st. So we can still have eligibility for the $400,000 that it took us to get this plan done. Let's see. Yeah, so let's adopt this. Any questions, guys?
Thanks for all your hard work. It's kind of an interesting timing. The Colorado General Assembly just passed SB 25007, which increased prescribed burn. So I thought that was good timing and it's good to me.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Anybody else have a question?
Likewise, the plain dealer just published a few minutes ago, the fact that we're in extreme drought conditions.
Yeah. So this year, as we talked about when we were talking about the evacuation plan, this year is highly important to keep that public awareness up and talk about all the things and all these plans that you guys are adopting right now. Is we've got to get that public awareness out there of what our capabilities are versus the perceptions of what our capabilities are.
Would you say this is the worst drought we faced?
No,
No.
not even close, but it is a drought year. And you know, it doesn't take the worst drought year to create a fire.
Yeah, a lot of us have been saying for years that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
That is the full model of emergency management. It may not even happen sometime in our lifetime, but it is gonna happen. We just don't know when.
We've already had small examples, relatively small, the Sims fire and such, but yeah, and it's been really rewarding to be involved in a lot of the meetings that led up to this. Great process. The contractor did a great job. I think we have a product we can be proud of. So any questions in the audience? Or any questions online? Just feel free to unmute yourself if you do. Otherwise, if there are no more here, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to adopt the, what's the title? The Ridgway County Community Wildfire Protection Plan 2025.
Second.
All right, motion by Terry, second by Michelle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thanks, Glenn.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate all your hard work.
And one more thing that came out of that you just reminded me of is through West Region Wildfire Council, we have a public outreach group that's starting, and anyone who wants to be a part of that and share that information and really help us reach the public, please do.
Yeah, I think we all need to be involved in that.
Absolutely.
You want to go ahead and introduce your new?
Oh, yes. And that was the other thing. For those who haven't met him, this is Daniel. He is our new deputy emergency manager.
Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. All right, that takes us to public press and presentations. Item number 7, request to use public streets and rights of way for the 5th of the Musique on June 29th and the rally through the alley on October 5th. I don't see Ashley. Is there somebody here in her stead? Pam will take it then. Take it away, Pam.
Yeah, it's the same as it has been for a number of years. They haven't changed the route on Raleigh through the alley. It's following the same route, starting off of Amelia and ending up in Town Park. And the date of that event is October 5th. And the vet is also the same as they did last year. They're not going down as far as they have in the past, starting in Town Park, going up Cora to the south, north, and then down to the Clinton Street, ending on Laura Street.
Great. Does anybody have comments or questions up here on council? These are things that we have seen happen for several years now, and particularly the rally through the alley. I think this is like the 3rd year of the FET. And
And this is before you because we're closing off rights of way.
Do we need these as separate motions?
On the drawings or the aid stations, the bacon stations?
Yes.
One of them
Yes.
There's no bacon last year.
Don't tell Hank he's been counting down.
But there was others.
So did we decide?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it'd be best and cleanest to do separate motions.
Before you do that, any comments or questions from the audience either here in the room or on Zoom? Hearing none.
Okay, I move to approve the use of public streets and rights of way for the Fête de la Musique on June 29th. Second.
Motion by Beth, seconded by Paul, all in favor?
I move to approve the closures of rights of way for the rally through the alley on October
Fifth.
5th.
I'll second that.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I don't think there were any opposed on the first one either, so they both passed unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to item number 9, request to permanently fly the flag between the oh, sorry, 8.
I know.
Request to close Clinton Street between Cora and Laura between 2 and 9 p.m. on August 16th for the annual Ridgway County Pride event. It's got Stephen's name on it.
Stephen here. I can do it.
Okay.
The Pride event has been held for the last 2, not 3 years. In at least 3 years in Town Park. They want to move this year over to Clinton Street between Cora and Laura and close off the street and involve all the businesses along the sides there for food, drink, and other things that they would need, so they won't have to bring in vendors. They're planning on putting a stage in the middle of that closure, which they'll be using. The event is from 2 to 9. They're asking to close the street from 11 to 10. That's to get everything set up and broken down. I remember I had the conversation with him a couple weeks ago. It's on August 16th, which is a Saturday. I believe they've talked to all the businesses along there. And he did not say that anyone was not in favor of the event being there.
I think this is a great idea, and I talked to John last year unofficially, during Art Walk on Fridays, and it's at its height in the middle of summer. And, watching people up across the street and kids in the street, and feel like hopefully somebody from that group will come forward to close the street maybe for some time on those Friday evenings, the first Friday. So it seems like this is in line with that, and a nice area to have events, especially to support businesses, which we know have been challenged.
Yeah, the only question I would have is the need for doing it between the alley and Laura, given that there's, unless there's art shows in Space to Create at the time, which there may be, I don't know. And that the main issue I'm concerned about is that there has been issues in the past, particularly with the Fête de la Musique, with the ground floor apartments in Space to Create being adversely impacted by the music and
I
noise.
can talk to him and ask him why they included that. If they
I could see even going sort of to maybe the entrance of Space to Create or something,
Okay,
but just making sure it doesn't adversely impact particularly that apartment on the corner.
I know the stage was going to be set
Maybe the,
more down towards the Sherman House, so they might not even need that area. And they're not going to have food vendors, I don't think.
okay. Yeah, in the past, the events have often had the trailer for music right at the alley there, so. That's a tough, but yeah, talk to him and see if we can deal with that.
Yeah, if they're.
Other comments, questions? Anybody in the audience have questions or comments on this?
Actually, when we fund them Pride on that day, and that is the Mount Snuffles race benefiting Mount Snuffles Education Foundation. So we'll have people in and out around the park, and so there should be a lot of
If that's what I picked that.
stuff happening that day.
Good. Right, I don't hear any other comments or questions, if everybody make a motion.
I move to approve the closures of rights of way for August 16th of Erie County Pride event.
I'll second that.
Motion by Polly, second by Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passing unanimously. That brings us to item number 9, request to permanently fly the flag of Planet Earth on the town flagpole in Park concept.
It's controversial.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but I've been involved with this initiative with the International Flag of Planet Earth for the last 5 years. This is something that I think as a Ridgway local, we should all be equally proud of, like the Grammys that we have them here. It's a world-renowned phenomenon. And I want to give you a brief little background about what it is and why I want to fly it in our park. The nonprofit was formed in 2020, but the flag has been around for 10 years. And if you want to go to the next one, this is what it looks like. My brother, that some of you have met, created this flag, and it's been done in the science of flags. So it's an official proposal to become the flag for our planet. It has the seed of life on top of it, representing the interconnectedness of life and representing the blue of the water of our planet. The reason why we think that this is really important right now, if you want to slide to the next, is because we obviously have a lot of challenges going on in our world. It's nothing new, but it's heightened. And we want to spread this flag with the message that we need to look upon our challenges and our possibilities that we actually share, and that we can look beyond these ideologies of political views and nationalities and all of these things that are kind of separating us. This flag actually demonstrates the opposite, that which we share, which is our common ground, which is our earth. So with this flag, when one is flying this flag, we share the message that we need to take care of our planet and each other. And this is something that has, in the last 10 years, if you want to scroll to the next slide, this is the fun part. This has totally organically taken off on its own. It's been flown by millions of people around the world. It has been planted at the Antarctic. It has been walked behind by Jane Goodall. It's been brought to Mount Everest. It's been seen on Kilimanjaro. People have been tattooing it on their body in support. And it's been featured by all major press in the world, the Washington Post, the Guardian, the Atlantic, the Independent. It's gone bazooka. And why I'm standing here tonight is because I want to invite Ridgway to be part of this momentum. And I want us to be part of being proud of this having its roots and its headquarters here in Ridgway. But it's also something that I think goes along with the ethos of our town. I think this is something we should be proud of. I would love to fly it in Town Park. I would love to continue to educate people about this. And that's why I'm here tonight.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody have questions for Hansen? I know we've gotten some calls and emails about it.
Yeah, and I have similar concerns. Like, I love the idea of it. I'm just really concerned about that opening the door to other requests for other flags to be flown, and what sort of precedent does that set for how we're gonna choose or approve or deny each request?
My question isn't for Hudson. My question is actually gonna be for Bo around that, because I did some reading today. And there's some nuance to that in Colorado, and so I'd like some feedback from Bo around.
Okay, so did you have a question?
Yeah, so Bo, with regards to flying a flag that is not the US or the Colorado flag on town property, me being the layperson I am, I read an article on Colorado Politics that basically says, if a governmental organization adopts it on its own initiative as its own free speech, we are not obligated to then honor every request. If we just fly, it's different than like flying the pride flag for the week of Pride. My understanding is they're slightly different. Would we be obligated to entertain any and all requests? Would we be discriminating based on content if we didn't accept all requests in the same way we're accepting the Earth flag?
So I'll give you a very lawyer answer, which is yes and no. I mean, I think that the short answer is that you can evaluate and you should evaluate every request that comes forward on its own merit. And to the extent that a flag comes forward that doesn't speak to the values of the council or the values of the town, you can deny that. But I would say that you are potentially opening yourself up to a free speech claim down the road if you've adopted a flag like this and then somebody comes in with another request and that is denied. They might have a little bit stronger of an argument to challenge. Did that get to your question?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly my concern, for sure. I love the idea, I was worried about the.
My take on it was that this doesn't represent a specific cause.
No, it's,
So I thought that maybe
Well, it does though, I mean, she just
the
did a
planet,
presentation on what the
it's
cause
the
is.
astronomical body of planet Earth, yes. It's not religious,
It's
it's
about
not
as big a
political.
cause as you could get.
Yeah.
Encompasses all causes.
Yeah. My first reaction was, when hearing that people were concerned about setting precedent, in emails and such, is that, you know, we deal with so many issues that, could be considered a precedent, but as long as we're weighing the request, on its merits and whether or not we feel it represents the town of Ridgway's, goals and aspirations and values, then we can approve it. As Bo said, we might be giving a future claim a slight leg up on a First Amendment claim if we deny a future one, but it's hard to imagine a future request for a flag that's not more specific in what it's trying to say, and that could be denied on that basis. That, you know, the flag of the planet Earth is, as I said before, it's like kind of the largest cause you could approve. So I'm not as concerned about that personally, and I also think I just kind of wanted to say, as I was thinking about it earlier, we're at a time in our country right now where I think it's really important that we speak up for our values and that we don't give in to the fear that so many people are feeling about, you know, being caught for being opposed to or not in agreement with the current administration, for instance. So I just think it's really important that we stand up for what we believe in and we approve what we believe in this case. So I don't have the same concerns. I want to give the opportunity for others in the audience to weigh in. If anybody in the room wants to come up and make a comment, please do.
I've got some comments too.
Well, we'll finish up here at the council person and then we'll take comments in the audience. Go ahead, Terry.
Based on anticipating some of this feedback, I went and studied, it took a while, our entire community master plan, and which is a lot. And there's a number of, you know, high level community values. It touches on healthy, you know, oops, I just lost it. The main community values that it touches on are the, sorry, I could do it, I just lost it. Healthy natural environment and sense of community inclusivity. And then underneath those, there's, you know, half a dozen or a dozen more specifics that supporting the idea of waving the flag of the planet seems consistent with. So I don't think it's inconsistent with any of the values of the community that went through this enormous process to come up with the community master plan. So that's issue number one. Anecdote two is when I worked at the Solar Energy Research Institute in Golden, Colorado, I went out to lunch in Golden, and there was this little tiny shop. And it was a shop called Spyderco, and they made knives, and they're now a big knife company. And on the knives that they make that are made in Golden is stamped Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. And I always got a kick out of it. The fact that my knife said it was made in Earth. I thought that was kind of consistent with sort of the theme of this flag. The third is when I was abducted by the alien, they made me wear this hat. And so that was their flag. I'm not sure exactly which planet or galaxy it came from. But that was kind of So I support the concept, and I have an alternative proposal that I'll bring up after the discussions and should we choose not to go this path.
Anybody else on council want to weigh in?
I feel about this flag like I feel about our personhood declaration for the river. It's a symbol. And what matters a whole lot more to me sitting on this body is that we follow through with the resolution we passed last month and we move towards all electric buildings, which is our legacy to generations going forward. What matters to me is that we think about how we can support public transportation. What matters to me is how we're gonna secure our drinking water supply. So am I gonna be opposed to this measure? No. But if we do this and we don't do all the other things that this council has talked about and are called for in their master plan, this gesture is absurd and hollow. So that's my take on it. I could take or leave the flag. It doesn't matter to me.
Let this be a reminder that to continue working for that. That's beautifully said.
Yep, point taken.
I already did.
Okay. Paul, you got anything you want to add?
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay. Anybody in the audience want to weigh in one way or the other? Come on up if you do, Howard.
That's Andy.
Now, this flag is universal. It's not controversial. It represents an ideal. And it's not about an issue. It's not taking a side. It represents a mentality, attitude. That talks about the aspirational things that the county is going towards. This represents that attitude. And the beauty of this concept has really struck me. I've talked to friends a number of times and others and friends in New York. And I have a friend in New York who's hanging it off of his patio in Manhattan. It's just not something that I would argue about. And I don't worry about if somebody else wants a flag. I mean, as you were saying, something comes up, you evaluate it. Evaluate this.
Will you give us your name and address just for the record?
Howard Green, 724 County Road, all day.
Thank you. Anyone else? Online, anybody on Zoom want to weigh in?
Charlie has one.
Who does?
Charlie.
Online.
CS.
I don't see it online. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm worried about this setting a precedent as well for other flags. And I don't think that we need to be flying any flag besides the Colorado flag and our United States flag. And that's all.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to chime in too. I don't know how to queue up from online.
That's fine. Just go ahead, Ellen.
Okay. So, I'm actually opposed to flying this flag. I agree with Charlie. I think it should just be the US flag and the Colorado state flag. Whenever you fly a flag, you're basically saying you're under that government. And this flag also has been used in other ways from other organizations that I kind of disagree with. An anti-nationalist flag and in other types of situations. I don't disagree flying this flag like for Earth Day or in certain situations, but as a permanent installment, I think it does set a precedence that we don't really need and is not necessary for the town to maintain.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? You guys on youth council want to weigh in?
I think it's important that.
Come on up. You can do it, Kara.
We can't hear you online.
It's good practice.
I was just gonna say it's good practice.
Well, it's short, but I think it's important that our town does show like a commitment to the planet because like there was a comment about what government you're under, and I think that this flag has no political affiliation and no religious affiliation, and we are all on this planet, and I think it's important to recognize that we see that and we're putting our energy there and we're making efforts. And I also agree with Beth that if we don't do the things that we've said we're going to do, then flying the flag is a really silly gesture. But I think that's like also a bit of accountability to hold ourselves.
Thanks, Kira.
Thank you.
Give us your full name.
My name is Kira Delicia.
Thanks, Kira. Anyone else?
I have something to say if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Joanna.
I'm Joanna Millars. I think it is important because I love this idea and I fully support the flag. But I do think it's important to realize that there are people who don't think the planet is in trouble. Like they don't really feel that there needs to be something flown in support of that because they feel like things are great. So I don't know if that could stir up emotions for those kind of people.
Okay, well,
Does it suggest that
my response is
trouble, or is it gonna be celebration?
it's just a celebration of the earth.
Not in trouble.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I-
Tom. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Good evening, Tom Griffith, 760 Clinton. It's been a really interesting discussion. I obviously support the idea that we all live on the same planet. No doubt there. And as much as we say that this is a non-political flag, and I believe in my heart that everybody in here believes that it is a non-political flag, the fact is that some people will interpret it as being political, and there will be blowback from that. And I think everybody on the council is aware of that. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I do want to emphasize that. I think it's a beautiful gesture. I think it's probably the right thing to do, but you're the ones that are going to have to take the heat for it.
So, thanks, Tom. And that's exactly the point I was trying to make earlier, is that if we're not willing to take the heat to stand up for what we believe in, we're in the wrong place. We're not.
Just stand for nothing, what do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also push back because I think we've seen the United States flag co-opted in different ways,
Yeah.
and symbols are tricky. Symbols are really, really tricky, which is partly why I would push for action. We watched the United States go through a whole issue around, can you kneel for the flag? Is that disrespectful to troops? Is this, like, who is just being disrespected? Because we're talking about a symbol that means different things to different people. When our master plan that Terry went through spends a lot of words trying to drill down to what it means to Ridgway to respect the environment. And when we buy into a larger symbol, we're buying into the larger view of that symbol. Again, I'm pretty neutral on it, but I do want to raise that we can say that to us, the symbol means this. But what is it, you know, how universal is that?
And I don't think that, like, if I vote against this, I don't want the insinuation to be that I'm against planet Earth, you know, and I'm supporting our Earth. I just don't think that we're putting another flag on town property that's like legally kind of thing. Like, I just don't think that that's necessary or.
And that's the, I mean, I just want to step in and say, that's the value of being on council, being in a democracy, having your voice heard, and understanding that the vote's not always going to go your way, but I will always 1000% respect your right to have a different opinion than others in this room. So
Another take on that small anecdote I gave you about the Spyderco knives, when it said Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. It wasn't trying to make a political statement. I never viewed my knife as making a political statement. I viewed it as a location. It was Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. And then, you know, in the hierarchy of the flags on the pole, the United States is a location. Colorado is a location, Earth is a location. We happen to live in all three of those locations right here.
beautiful.
My name is Josh Jacobs. Some people know me as Yoti. 647 Forest Hill is where I live. I happen to be closer to this than most people because that's my wife that just spoke, and my brother-in-law who created the flag. I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know that he's recommended for many awards because of this. In the next few years, you're going to see it in many, many, many places with many big name brands and big name people supporting this. Right now, we're putting this to you guys to be one of the first, and that's why it's kind of being hesitated on right now, I feel. If it was, the world knew what the flag represented in more of a, like, not of a sketchy nature, kind of what you guys were saying, it could be misinterpreted right now. But I feel like maybe, you know, we can reconsider this in a few years when things change, because although you don't see it now, it's going to become more universally known. And I guess the whole reason we presented it to you is because we created it here. That's it.
Thanks, Josh. Corbin.
Corbin Allenbeck, 902 Chipeta. I think it's about community. I think it's about education. I have a flag hanging at the ice cream shop. I educate people about it all the time. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Corbin.
Hi, my name's Lauren Malin. Just a super quick thing to say. We were talking about it at our little youth town council meeting the other day too, because we all really care about this, but I would just question if you really feel weird about flying this flag, why would you stand for anything as a town? I think it's something included in our master plan, and we have a dark sky designation, and we really work to save water and recycle and do all sorts of cleanups and things. I think it aligns with everything that the town already stands for. And so if it's something that you really have a problem with or you're super worried about, I would say, like, don't commit to anything, because anything is political and everything is political. And so I just think, I don't know, it aligns with the town that I live in and what I know about it. And so I'd say I'm for it.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
That's it. Anyone else?
As I mentioned, I have an alternative proposal, but I'll reserve that to see if how the vote goes.
Sounds like we might be ready for motion.
I move to approve the request to permanently fly the flag of planet Earth on the town flagpole in Hartwell Park, Ridgway, Colorado, USA, Earth.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Michelle, seconded by Terry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This is 5-1. Thanks very much, everybody. Now we come on to the next one, which is
Maybe 4-1.
Oh yeah, 4-1 without me. Right, sorry about it. So now we move on to the proclamation that actually came afterwards, after the article came out in the paper, and people expressed the answer that would be doing a proclamation might be a nice idea. So now to discuss this, which is just kind of formalizing our recognition of why we're flying the flag. So I don't believe I need to read the proclamation. Maybe what I could do is, for those of us in the room who don't have it in front of them,
It's not that long.
could just.
Do we want to popcorn read it?
Here's the teacher.
You know what that means.
Just read it where it is.
Do you want to do that?
I don't know, but actually, I do want to say the proclamation actually made it easier for me to vote for it, because that's, again, when you talk about what does a symbol mean, at least we're going on record with what this symbol is meaning to the town of Ridgway. To Lauren's point earlier. We don't really have to read it. It's very.
Anybody in the room want us to read it?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. I'll just go ahead and read it. Whereas the flag of planet Earth, now celebrating its 10th anniversary, has become a globally recognized symbol of our shared humanity and collective home, transcending national political divides. And whereas in a time of increasing division and polarization, the need for symbols to unite rather than divide us has never been greater. And whereas the flag of planet Earth represents a fundamental truth that we are all inhabitants of one planet, interconnected in our shared responsibility to care for our home and one another. And whereas, as a town known for its spirit of inclusivity, innovation, and leadership, Ridgway has a unique opportunity to set a precedent for cities and towns around the world by formally recognizing the flag of planet Earth. And whereas, by recognizing and raising this flag, Ridgway affirms its commitment to unity, sustainability, and global citizenship, encouraging other towns and cities to join in recognizing our collective responsibility to protect and cherish the Earth. And whereas in alignment with the town's continued commitment to environmental stewardship and cooperation, this declaration serves as an invitation to communities across the world to come together under a shared symbol of hope and responsibility. Now, therefore, we, the Ridgway Town Council, do hereby declare as one of the first municipalities in the world to officially recognize and raise the flag of planet Earth, marking a new era of global unity, environmental responsibility, and shared purpose.
So I'll move to approve.
We need to allow people to have some.
Questions on a proclamation?
Is the flag here? Yeah, I know I have seen it. These guys not, they would love to see it. We have one for that.
Yeah.
I know we just discussed the issue of flying the flag to a fair extent. Does anybody want to have more comments on the proclamation? We feel like it's just kind of the follow-up, natural follow-up, which is basically what I feel.
I have one additional location I'd like to see it flown. Because many of the symbols it represents and in the description of the flag on the website, the term sustainability comes up multiple times. I think this should be flown at the Green Street Sustainability Park.
Absolutely.
That would have been my alternative proposal.
To-do list. Okay, hearing no other comment. Go ahead, Terry.
So I'll move to approve the proclamation recognizing and raising the flag of planet Earth.
Second that.
Motion by Terry, second by Beth. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thanks for that lively conversation. Thank you. All righty, that takes us to item number 10. Or item number 11, sorry, proclamation declaring May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month. This comes around once a year, and I am always very proud to be able to introduce this proclamation. And every year I say pretty much the same thing. And I will once again share the fact that I am someone who's suffered from depression my entire life, and sometimes very severe. I am somebody who's actually considered suicide, and I'm glad that I'm still here. If it weren't for the love of my family, I might not be. And I just think it's vitally important that we recognize the importance of mental health just as much as we recognize the importance of our physical health. I dream of the day when we can talk about our mental health challenges, just like we can talk about our sprained ankles and our sore shoulders, and remove the stigma around mental health that has been around for so long. So I think it's just really important that every year we go this route and we heartily proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month. Anything anybody wants to add?
I'm with Treasurer.
Oh, great. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. We just wanted to, thank you guys for considering, proclaiming May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And you're absolutely right on removing that stigma, openly talking about mental health and how much that would really help us all heal. I do have window stickers for you guys. And we also are doing a workplace challenge if anybody would like to participate. Just has a couple things to do with your
discussion in the workplace. Yeah,
absolutely. So
okay.
And I have more of these I can bring up to you guys.
Great.
So
we're shining our green light at the town hall entrance as
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we're also doing a movement on we are the ones. And so it's like, we are the ones who openly talk about mental health. We are the ones who stand up for bullying. We are the ones who, it could be really anything anything, so just really challenging the community to do better and take better care of each other. I think that we've just kind of gotten into this box, and so we're challenging everybody to get out of it. It's hard to stand up and speak up, but it takes one small person to do so. So
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Back your jacket.
Yeah, your jacket's good too.
That's the We Are the Ones. We shine light.
Great.
And
Mental health is health. Mental health care is healthcare. That should just be stated openly and as succinctly as possible. We don't shame people for getting a sprained ankle. Why are you going to shame a person for having a chemical imbalance in your brain? It's not your fault. Stand up. You are wanted, loved, and empowered.
Yeah, and along those lines, if you know of anyone in your circle of friends or family that you think might be hurting right now, there's a lot of reasons to be hurting right now. Go to them and tell them that you care about them and that they're not alone, and ask them if there's anything you can do to help. It's hard to do that, but it's really important that we do. So, and there are tons of resources for how to have those conversations out there too, so.
Absolutely. We offer community-based training, even free training on how to provide mental health first aid for anybody in your circle, or whether it's personal or professional. So, yeah, reach out to us. We'd be happy to set up a training here in Ridgway.
You're with Tri-County Health, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, I'd like to applaud your courage for always speaking up on your own personal experience. As I get older and I talk to my older friends, we're always talking about our aches and pains, but we never say, oh, and I had a mental breakdown, or I had this or that.
Well, I'm feeling really depressed right
My
now.
knee hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start using.
Well, thank you. Any other comments or questions, either in the room or online? Okay, is there a motion?
I move to proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month.
Second.
Motion by Polly, second by Josie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Of course not. Thank you very much. Now we have another proclamation, recognizing Public Lands Day. This one also has my name on it. Just happens that, third Saturday in May is now recognized as Colorado Public Lands Day. Oh, gosh, I don't know how many of you know, of the threats that are looming from the feds right now about selling off public lands and opening them up for drilling and resource extraction. We don't need to get into politics of that, but I think it's really important that we recognize how important our public lands are. We live in a place where public lands are just all around us and vital to our everyday life, economically as well as physically. And this is another one that just, to me, is a no-brainer. It's 50% of the land, over 50% of the land in Ridgway County. Could very well be close to 50% of the land in the state. I would imagine most Western states are very large proportion public land, so it's just really important. Having said that, you want to add anything, or again, anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Come on up, Linda.
I'm the one who wrote it.
That's right.
My name is Linda Browning, and I'm here representing the Ridgway Uric Community Council in thanking you for your support of Colorado Public Lands Day. And I think it's really great that you did love your valley on Public Lands Day. You know, that makes
And
it.
planned it that way.
And you, I know for some of it, I don't know if it's appropriate. I would like to read part of it.
Read as much of
And
it.
you are right, because in the proclamation that over 50% of the land area in Uric County is public. And that it goes without saying that the town of Ridgway, the citizens of the town of Ridgway regard the surrounding forests, lakes, rivers, and mountains essential to their social, economic, and physical well-being. And that, alluding to the recent reductions in the staff who manage public lands across Colorado, will likely reduce their ability to properly manage the public lands and enforce the regulations that protect public lands from overuse, misuse, degradation, and wildfire. And whereas the Ridgway Town Council is committed to protecting this quiet land of awesome beauty, of which the public lands are significant, that you do recognize May 17th as Public Lands Day and encourage the citizens of the town of Ridgway to use, enjoy, actively protect the public lands of Colorado. And so we thank you very much.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks for your efforts behind this. I apologize for not recognizing that up front, but
That's all right. I'll get to you later.
I know you will. Again, this is just really important and Linda is the one who brought it forward. So, again, any other questions, comments? Hearing none. Motion.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the proclamation recognizing Public Lands Day. Do I need to state the date? That's it.
Yep.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, second by Beth. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to our lone public hearing tonight. Under public hearings is item number 13, application for a restaurant liquor license at 618 Clinton Street. Applicant Adalto M. Jimenez, doing business as Tacos and Beer Ridgway. Ma'am.
Yes, well, we have received an application for a restaurant liquor license from Tacos and Beer Montrose LLC for the premises at 618 Clinton Street, which was formerly Kismet Cafe. The trade name of the business is Tacos and Beer Ridgway. State law requires a public hearing before a local jurisdiction for application for a new license, and everything has been followed as far as state statutes. The application has been posted, published. The premises have been posted, and all requirements have been met of the application. The applicant is leasing the premises from Trio LLP and assuming an existing 4-year lease from Kismet. The approval would include licensing the patio areas on the north and south side of the building for outdoor consumption of alcohol. And additionally, the applicant is requesting encroachment on the sidewalk. So there's a separate item on the agenda for approval of serving alcohol in public right of way. That approval of the revocable permit on the agenda is for required for approval of their liquor license to the state. And someone may be on Zoom, though I don't see, I can't see anyone on there.
It doesn't, unless Patty's on there.
I don't, that's not.
Patty Schaefer. Patty
No, that's
Schaefer.
not great, Patty.
There's a Kara Rhodes, doesn't look like anybody's there.
Cool. I'm excited to be here. But business is going into that spot with vacants.
Yeah.
I actually just ate them to a tacos and beer today because the little girl I nanny says, I want to go get a burrito at the lollipop place. Because they have lollipops on the way out.
Okay.
Couldn't be more excited about this place.
All right, well, this is a public hearing, so first off, we have to give council a chance to weigh in and ask staff any questions, or if the applicant was here, could ask them, but I doubt there's.
I can answer any questions.
Any idea when they're opening?
That I can't.
What was the question?
Soon. I don't know if they're gonna, they want to wait for their liquor license or not. We did a concurrent review. I got to tell you that is considered a concurrent review application, which means that they will be receiving their application quicker because the state has already received it a month ago. So they are already in their process.
I know they're also doing a little physical work. They're putting in some sort of ADA ramp or something.
I just saw photos on Instagram this week by Silver Pick Builders maybe. That did some of the remodels in there and they have a whole bar area in the back. That's very cool.
Nice. Questions in the room? I'll open up public comment. Anybody have any public comment on this request for liquor license? Either on Zoom or here in the room? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing, bring back up here a vote motion.
I move to approve the liquor license for is it Tacos and Beers Montrose LLC? No. Doing business as Tacos and Beer Ridgway.
Right.
Second.
Okay, motion by Beth, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That takes us to item number 14 under policy matters, the revocable permit for the same business to serve alcohol and seat restaurant goers out on the patio, on the sidewalk.
Do you need to discuss or are you ready for a motion?
I think we need to discuss it a little bit.
Do we know, is the onus on the town or on the business owners? Because we've talked about in the past when they're gonna allow like the open container along that street between all the different businesses.
I think and this would be a question for Pam, I know, Colorado Boy and Charbonneau and 610, Charbonneau and 610 are the same entity essentially. I think Colorado Boy, they've done a joint license.
They did, and then they didn't follow through with it, and so there's a new owner of Colorado Boy, and they wanted to wait and see what was gonna happen with what was then provisions. And then now they're waiting to see what's gonna happen with this, so.
Right, because I'm gonna call it boy.
But that is not,
And tacos and beer and Chloe's wine bar.
but what they're applying for is to allow you to move from place to place with food and alcohol along the sidewalk. It wouldn't create a district where you could move off premises. So they would still be on town right away.
Just curious, yeah.
But so for, as far as tonight goes, we're just.
Yeah.
Just need to revoke a permit for the property in front of the town right away in front of it.
I think
And is it also behind, did I read somewhere that it's north
That would make
and
sense.
south?
So, no, the revocable encouragement permit is something that we have for every liquor license, restaurant liquor license that's held in the town so that they can serve on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And it gives permission to serve on the sidewalk and with an 8-foot right-of-way passage for pedestrians.
6 foot.
And
6 feet.
excuse me, is it 6 feet? Sorry. And the permit is required as part of the state liquor license application if someone is asking to serve on
On the
sidewalk.
Sorry,
But they're north and south is on their property.
Yep.
So it's licensed, it's considered licensed within the facility
That's
itself.
part of the last motion.
It was on the
This
last
is
one.
just going to be the sidewalk from where their property ends to the curb. With the 6-foot right-of-way passage.
This is continuing like, because
It's
what
already
it was
there,
already
yeah.
doing, so, we need to open it up for comment.
Well, I always like to give an opportunity for people to weigh in if they want. Everybody in the audience, either here or online, wants to say anything. Please weigh in. Going once, going twice. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the revocable permit for the town right of way granted to Tacos and Beer Montrose LLC, doing business as Tacos and Beer Ridgway.
Second.
Motion by Beth, seconded by Josie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that passes unanimously. That brings us to the highlight of the night. The annual presentation from the Ridgway Youth Advisory Council. Welcome, guys.
This will be easy because you already spoke.
And thanks for entering the conversation. That was really, I'm proud of you guys.
So we're the youth advisor, is it advisory or town?
It's got several names. It's formerly the Ridgway Youth Advisory Council. You guys have been calling it the Youth Town Council. I like that.
Cooler, yeah. So we're the youth town council, minus one member who is at track and field state. So.
Sophia's Spanish, she said.
So I'm Lauren and then
I'm Patrick.
Kira. And so this is a presentation about some of the things that we talked about in there.
These guys were very engaged this year.
We talked about the town mural. We talked about the dark sky. I guess not. No, just leave it. The Ridgway Town mural. We're super excited for it. It's gonna be a nice little collab that we have on the southeast facing side of the Space to Create building.
I don't really know how to pronounce her last name, Yulia
Augustovich,
Augustovich.
that's close.
It's kind of cool that like she won the overall contest or the program through the 17 contestants. And it's nice that we have a big old grant from many different places to help kind of fund the stuff. And then it's cool that it'll start on the 28th or the 30th, roughly in that time frame of May.
It's actually gonna be a little later now. She had to delay her. She's not even getting to town until June 4th. So it'll start shortly after that. Yeah, the celebration is supposed to be June 4th. She's very accomplished. She will whip this up.
Another thing that we talked about was the fact that Ridgway is a dark sky community. And I think we all found it really interesting that we have that effort and we all appreciate it a lot. I know that my dad has talked to me a little bit about like the things that like our protocol or like what's required. I think that's very interesting. We talked about the like voltage of lights required for outside so that they're the least amount of disturbing as possible and the different types of lamps. And, oh, yeah, this is the different color spectrum. The warmer ones are less obnoxious. I also think that it's cool that we're part of an area that really cares. So it's not just our town. There's a bunch in our area that do care. And yeah, I think this is a really interesting thing, and I really value being able to go outside and stand in my town and like look up and see the stars. That's really cool. And I know that it also has an impact on birds and other animals. I think that's really cool that we do that. I appreciate that. So,
I think it's fascinating that there's people in the world that have never seen stars in the night sky.
Particularly billions of people have never seen them.
And the stats change periodically. I think we're one of 7 in the state, maybe 21 in the country. So it's not a big club.
This is Sophie's slide, so she has a voice recording.
Oh, sounds like
So that's. Go back.
It's quiet in here. I have a Google sign in. Is that easier? Signed in.
It's under the
recording on the.
Oh, I see.
left
Under
side.
the title.
All right.
Yep.
Make sure your laptop volume is up. Not sure where it's going.
That's okay. You can just.
That's it.
Anyway, it's all right. Another thing we talked about was our water purification, everything for Ridgway. And we talked about where our water comes from, and how it gets to everybody and the process it goes through. And we took a little field trip up to.
I was gonna ask if you guys took that photo.
Not that one, that's a stock image, but the first one is one of something we actually saw. So we learned about that it comes from White House Mountain and it flows into Beaver Creek, and then Happy Hollow and Lake Oklahoma one. So we learned about them, and then we learned about our new granular activated carbon system and that huge renovation and how involved that was. And then we also learned about how expensive and insane fixing the pipe and replacing some things is, and how rich Ridgway is because we have the money. Just kidding, but yeah, it was super cool, and we did a lot of that, like.
It's all gravity fed. No pumps. There's no pumps at all on the freshwater supply.
What's the question?
There's no pumps on the freshwater supply. It's all gravity fed, even across the highway.
Down into the distribution system. There are pumps on the other side of the highway up to like this terrace.
We didn't teach us that. But yeah, we talked a lot about like infrastructure stuff and refrigerating. We talked about like some of the county commissioner lines maybe and some more government type stuff, but those were the main things.
And then here's our capstone project, and everybody here is expected to play.
Yes.
So last year we did the same thing, and we put on a fundraiser pickleball tournament for the Dolphin House in Montrose. I think we raised $400 for them last year, hopefully more this year if all of you guys play. But yeah, so this is our little capstone project. It's community service, community involvement, stuff like that. It's on May 31st, first day of like summer, because all the schools are let out finally, and yeah, it would be super awesome if everyone would scan that right now and send it. Yeah, it's for a good cause.
And if you don't know how to play, we will have
Yeah.
2 days
We
before.
have 2 practice days, so you can go over there and people from the Ridgway Pickleball Club, which is our super awesome friends who are helping us do this because it wouldn't be possible without them. They're gonna, all their expertise will be available.
Teach you.
And they'll teach you, and then on the day of, if you've never played pickleball before, you don't have a paddle, we have paddles available. So super accessible.
No,
What time are the practices?
Practices.
What time are the practices?
The days are kind of TBD right now because nobody's like said they want to. But
So we have people who want to, we will figure out when everybody has time and we will teach you how to play pickleball.
But if you scan the QR code and you sign up, you'll be on the email list. And then you'll get an email about when those days are.
Do you guys play pickleball?
We do now.
Yeah. Now we know.
Yeah, so.
I'll reinforce your shaming the council.
Oh, no, encouragement.
Oh, yes.
Scary.
But
John and I were there last. I encourage the council to come out and support this capstone project fundraising.
Tell your friends.
Here, $10 per person to help with their
it's
fundraising.
actually cheaper than last year, so it's like even better. So you have no excuse really, you know, but yeah,
Tell your friends.
any questions?
Any questions? please?
Nice job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Really nice job.
It was a good year.
Are you guys gonna go into public service once you're out of college and maybe run for public office or something?
Be cool, not sure yet.
I think Lauren's gonna come back and run against me from there.
You have to be 18.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Miami people.
Well, you have to be a
Yeah, but-
registered voter, so you
Yeah,
have
so
to be
you have to-
18.
You do have to.
Yeah, you'd have to be
Pam said.
probably almost 18.
I'm a teen. Yes, next year.
Wow.
No, whenever you. I don't know.
So real quick, I want to commend these 3 and of course Sophia who's at a track meet. These 3 are seniors, they're gonna graduate in that case.
And 2 of you were on it last year, right? Was that the first time? we had-
All three of
All
us
3 of
next
you?
year too.
So you guys are giving out the good word for us to recruit next
Oh,
year,
yeah.
right? You guys have talked this up as fun?
Oh,
Okay, because what I know is that teachers can tell students a million times that it's worth their time, but the best advertisement.
It's
is
very
yours.
good.
We have all of our little siblings in the same grade who.
Hopefully we'll be doing it.
We-
We'll see, because the only one left next year is gonna be Sophie, so.
How
If she
many-
comes back, I don't know.
How many of the students have you recruited?
So far, well, we made one announcement so far, so we will.
There's posters up, we've been talking to people, and so hopefully they'll just sign up, because it's super easy.
That direction too.
But I don't know, I don't have access to the like registration form and the numbers yet, but I get emails when a new person signs up, so.
Well, now we're talking about signing up for youth council.
Yes, how many people are we recruited to sign up for that?
Are you telling all your friends? how much-
Hopefully at least.
Oh, yeah.
3.
Yeah, our siblings, I think, for sure, probably, if mine doesn't, we'll probably do it.
Mine will do it anyway. Yeah, because she loves this kind of stuff.
And I think there's 3 different events. There's a youth only tournament or a series of
For this,
games.
yeah, we have.
One that's
We were
mixed.
talking about youth council. but
Talking
you brought
Yeah,
it
I
up.
was
It's all-
like looking forward, going back and forth.
What
It's all good.
can we do to support you guys better next year? What it can?
Is there anything we
do
can
anything
do
more
with
for
them?
It's, I mean, we just have meetings once a month, and we talk about super awesome stuff with questions and so on. But, I personally really enjoy like having something that I can comment on, and I feel like a lot of this is just kind of like maybe kind of out of my
Too much like school.
Yeah, or just like stuff I wouldn't really have anything to say about. I don't really care if somebody gets a liquor license, but like stuff like the flag planet earth and stuff, I think it's really important to discuss, and I like having a voice as somebody younger, so I think if there was more discussion about things of that nature, I think would be really cool, but other than that, I don't know. We just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, I think I would love to figure out how we could get more of the advisory part in
Yeah,
here.
yes.
Like, I think, especially since you guys have made it to a second year, like, yeah, I think it's totally legitimate for you guys to be like, kid stuff, we don't really have a whole lot of input on liquor licenses. But we, not to pick on liquor licenses, it's important, but we do have an opinion about, you know, the flag or, electrification or I know a lot of the environmental issues, parks
Yeah.
have really gotten you guys excited. And I know the meetings get long. I teach in URA, so I come here after a whole day at school, and I know asking one of you to sit in is a lot, but I would love is some way of getting that advisory piece and hearing from you guys.
Or maybe you guys get the packet and you can choose one thing a month to be like, this is what we think you guys should do.
Yeah.
And you know, if it is a meeting of all, sorry, liquor licenses. If it's a meeting of all liquor licenses and that kind of stuff, like, we might have to contribute. That's totally legit.
I don't think it's ever been all the.
But
That
makes-
really valuable.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking up, because I know it can be scary, but nothing bad happened.
No,
So now you'll be ready for next time.
But
I second that. I think you guys did a great job. I was impressed.
Very eloquent.
But thank you all for coming back for a second round. Like, that's really an impressive, contribution. I will throw out that as you're trying to convince your younger siblings or younger peers that they should apply for the Youth Advisory Council. I would be happy to write a letter of rec, or John would. Like, a 2-year commitment to something like this is very real, and hopefully you got something out of it personally. But when you think scholarships and college applications, we are happy to turn that around and pay it back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a great thing to have on your resume, and to have us write letters in addition is definitely something we can do. But do think about ways that you think we might be able to improve the program.
I think that what Polly said was a good idea, is just, I think we get emailed, I'm sorry, but we do get emailed the meeting packets, and we get emailed the town manager's report and stuff like that. The amount of times we read that maybe should be improved, but.
Rotate the responsibility. You took January, you took February.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're a soccer player, you guys could set that schedule maybe, so Sophia's not trying to read one while she's at a track meet.
Well, and pick an item like they said that you might be interested in, and maybe if you can't be here at the meeting, you write a letter together on what your opinion is on it, your input, right?
More encouragement as far as that.
My other question, and I know it would be a turn from our usual procedure, but if the Youth Advisory Council had an opinion on an issue in the packet, it's probably not possible with public hearings, but things like policy matters where we're just introducing a measure, I would love the ability to maybe insert them as a line item up at the beginning of the meeting, where they could weigh in, even if it's something we're discussing later, so that you guys could give your input and go finish whatever it is that you need to do.
Yeah, so.
Because I think that would make it this easier.
So I just comment on that. We've talked about that before. We've talked about that at the Youth Advisory Council level. It is like herding cats. Trying to get this crew scheduled even for monthly meetings with their extracurricular activities, with school, with family obligations.
I swear.
I'm not trying to exaggerate, but it's been pulling teeth sometimes, trying to get these folks in the same. We've actually never had the 4 of them in the same room for a meeting, have we?
Oh, yeah.
Last meeting, yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Preston's a little busy.
So.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
We have to have realistic expectations for the program, but
Oh, yeah.
I love that. we can work towards it.
It could be one of our agendas, just talk about some of what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I guess we should have done that already, but next year.
We do that every meeting.
I know, but more.
I just,
Comment somebody wanted.
And I want to address the Youth Advisory Council and the rest of the people in the room, but I want to say this publicly. Sometimes we don't realize the impact we have on people. And forgive me, I didn't catch your name. Lauren, I'm sorry. I want you to know, Lauren, that what you said about the flag convinced me that we should do it. Good on you.
I think you had a very valid point on the flag as well.
but I do want to hear you guys weigh in when we have the actual things that come in, because I think.
It's an actual.
No,
I know what you're saying.
but I mean,
know what you're saying.
like actionable,
Action,
like
yeah.
changes to policy,
Town policy,
because
development.
there are many times I could tell you that. No shade to anybody, the average age of the commenters on some environmental issues and.
I'd love to bring that up.
What's shady?
I was talking to the children, Preston.
Not about you.
They're not children.
Young adults.
So like as seniors, are you leaving our community next year or anybody sick and put?
Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to take a year and volunteer abroad
Heck yeah, get it.
in Italy and Greece and South America.
Have you already picked a program?
I'm going to be working with WOOF, so
Oh, you're
I
moving.
want organic opportunities.
Yeah.
I love Greece.
Can you
so much.
pledge to send a postcard to town to reach these locations?
Sure, yeah.
We'll share it in the town meeting. And Lauren?
I'm going to CSU for the honors program and I'm gonna do. She gets it. I'm gonna do sustainability, horticulture and botany.
Very cool.
So probably a double major.
Yes. And then I was gonna go to Colorado State University too, and then I was gonna study business.
Cool.
Very cool.
Go Reds.
After working in our parks this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Get credit for that?
See him working in the park.
Well, that's.
I just want to say thank you guys.
Yeah.
It's been really great working with you and
We want to say thank you to you guys for giving us this really cool opportunity because I don't know really anything else like it. And it's been really interesting being a part of the system and getting to know all the little not secrets, but ins and outs. Yeah.
You could join us for the cleaning up the highway day next month if you're.
Yeah.
And I do want to throw out, John, any of you need to connect with folks, you want to talk things through, or you're interested in local government stuff, you're just like, hey, I'm back in Ridgway, what's happening in town? Reach out, I'll have coffee with you, seriously, if you're just like, I mean, God, what happened in town? What did I miss?
Yeah, come see us.
Seriously, it'd be great to hear from you.
Let's go to the park.
As much as you probably want to get out of here now, you might someday want to live here.
Yeah.
Once you see the world.
That's what my husband did. He graduated here, left for college and came back.
What's the dog's name?
Her name is Darla.
Oh, Darla, that's really sweet. Well,
She does a good.
thank you.
Thanks
Thanks,
again.
guys.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
And congrats, Patrick, on your new position over the summer.
Thank you.
Not a bad place to work, huh?
Not at all. You're more, you don't say.
Well, I don't want to. Just.
So.
Go do your, go do your whole.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys. Thanks again.
Good luck for making it to the semifinals,
Oh,
quarterfinals. She was just, they went to Denver and played the playoff game. Ridgway female girls soccer.
Oh.
And we streamed it on TV and watched the game. So,
Yeah.
They were playing the #1 seed.
they were playing, right, and they were down 1-0 through most of the game and then losing 3-0 at the end.
Well, the track team in Sophia's, they're going to state too, so it's.
Sophia was on the team as well.
Right. That was great. Thank you, everybody. Really, one of the coolest parts of what we're doing these days, I think. Let's see, where are we? 60. That takes us to, I don't know.
I mean, they'll take that, they'll have that experience for the rest of their lives to know that they can participate and, change the way that things go sometimes. That's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of adults that haven't recognized that they can do that.
And to Tom's point, I think they did a good job of influencing decision making.
Yeah.
Totally impressed. Okay, that takes us to item number 16, notice of award for the 2025 Housing Needs Assessment Project. Preston.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So, in March, the town issued an RFP looking for proposals from consultants to conduct a housing needs assessment for not only the town as a jurisdiction, but Ridgway County as well. The result is expected to be a regional housing needs assessment that addresses the unique needs of both those jurisdictions. The city of Ridgway is just on the heels of completing their needs assessment, I think within the last 6 months. So, so good on them to already have that in place. The town received 4 submittals, 4 proposals. One from Community Planning Strategies, LLC. That one should sound familiar. That's TJ DeLubeck's firm. They came in at $116,820. Next one was Points Consulting LLC, just a little under $49,000. Matrix Design Group Inc., $49,795, and SCJ Alliance was the 4th proposal at $158,941. And so there was a group, reps from not just the town, but the county reviewed the proposals against the criteria that was put into the RFP. And then it was decided to interview two of those firms, Points Consulting LLC and Matrix Design Group. And then based on the interviews that took place, the quality of the proposals, all the criteria outlined in the RFP, it's a really thorough reference checking process that took place. The committee is now recommending that the town enter into professional services agreement with Points Consulting LLC for the project. They are based out of Moscow, Idaho. And they were able to showcase some really great examples of, I mean, a lot of these, they all were able to showcase some really great examples of previous work, but Points did an exceptional job of doing that. And that work fell in line with what the town and county are looking for with this regional housing needs assessment. And we're all feeling like Points Consulting's set up to do a really good job for this really important project. So on the financial side of things, the project was budgeted for in the town's fiscal year 2025 budget at an amount of $25,000. Ridgway County is expected to contribute an equal share for this project. I'm happy to announce the town was just awarded last week a housing planning grant from the Department of Local Affairs to support this project. I think it's at 75% of the project cost. So shout out to Angie Kim for writing that grant. Great news there. So the grant was structured in a way where we were assuming, you know, somewhere around $100,000 for the cost of the project. So the request was for $75,000. So obviously that you don't need that amount if we're going with Points Consulting, so that will be ratcheted down based on that percentage. But it's still really cool to have that support from the state like we get and have gotten for a lot. So shout out to Dora.
Great.
And Angie.
It's interesting, the discrepancy in the bids.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Was it all apples?
One was like 3 times the winning bid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed that the smallest was loosely involved in this. I have missed the meeting because of a work thing, but I assumed that the lowest one must have left something out. Like, oh, they're not gonna pick the lowest one now. And it turned out that no, they did a great job. So that it's pretty impressive. You know, usually in construction, you're like, oh, don't take the lowest bid. But
Yeah, Terry, they were all apples to apples.
Interesting.
Thanks for
Well,
the time.
that's very exciting. So any questions or comments either here in the room or on Zoom?
See Carol with the county on Zoom. I don't know if she has anything to, I'm assuming she's here to represent the county. I'm not sure if she has anything to say.
Yeah, thank you, Bryce. I don't really have anything to say, just thank you for including me in the process and excited to see how it moves forward.
Us too. Thanks for being here. Not seeing any other hands up or anybody speaking out. It's like we're ready for motion.
I move to authorize staff to enter into a professional services agreement with Points Consulting LLC to develop a housing needs assessment.
Motion by Beth, second by Polly. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to item number 17, consideration of enacting voluntary water restrictions pursuant to the town's water and conservation management plan. Preston.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I don't have much to add outside of what's in the memo, relatively short memo. Hopefully you get it. It kind of looks the same as it ever was, right? It's kind of something that we see once, maybe twice a summer, the last, in my time here. But at this point, we're feeling like it would be wise and prudent to begin promoting voluntary water restrictions, which would be stage 1. On top of the efforts that are currently being made. Ran some production numbers from the water treatment plant. For the month of April, we're averaging about 139,000 gallons a day. The first 12 days of May, we've already jumped up to, and again, these are averages. First 12 days of May, we're averaging just shy of 168,000 gallons per day. So it's, pretty good jump, pretty on par with the months from prior years. Actually, April, I think seemed a little bit lower than last April. So that's great and also very interesting. So I just thought it'd be helpful to have some data, some numbers.
Is the flow out of Happy Hollow sufficient to meet that demand without tapping the lake?
Yes.
So we're getting sufficient flow without tapping the reservoir, which looks like is the metric for going to a stage 2.
That's a great point, great observation. So yeah, technically stage 2 might have it there open. There's an excerpt about not having one of our water sources not being available to us as being a trigger.
It says water from the town storage reservoir is the only source.
Right. And so in this case, it's the other source, right? But I still would recommend as a starting point, again, just a recommendation that, the voluntary level, there's more than enough water coming from Happy Hollow to meet our demands. And those pre-sedimentation ponds are full. The goal this summer would be to not have to use any water from Lake Tonawanda down that transmission line. That's a pretty ambitious goal with how it looks right now. There's an article on the Plain Dealer front page, I don't know if Leah wrote it or Mike, but about the snowpack melting sooner rather than later. So
with that in mind, and if we choose to go with stage 1, which is voluntary, I have a suggestion. One of the actions in stage 2 is that the town parks irrigation is limited to the same as the properties north and south of 62, which are voluntary. I would propose that the town voluntarily, implement that particular action of using the same, what do they call it, the irrigation limits that we're asking the town to do as an example of, we're asking you to do this on a voluntary basis, and the town is going to volunteer to step up and do the same.
I would actually push back on that, because I think our grass in town park takes a different level of beating than our grass in our homes, and having a communal space together with grass to me feels like a different use of water resource. I would defer to our parks department on how much water it needs before I jumped to automatically putting us to that voluntary restriction.
I agree. And
Like-
just, and like with baseball season coming up, like you having like the grass in the outfield, not just patchy. I don't know, like it just, and that's where people come together to spend time.
Well, if we end up going to a stage 2, it's going to be required. So
Well, and if I can throw out a positive note, somebody may be aware of the Open Snow weather app, and basically where I'm skiing, snowboarding, but they do really excellent weather predictions, and they're saying that the outlook right now is for neither El Nino or La Nina, whatever they call the in between, and that actually points towards a decent monsoon season. So fingers crossed, we could get a good monsoon this year. It's certainly help. So obviously nothing is guaranteed, but I tend to agree. I think, to me, it's obvious that another good thing to know, Preston can explain further, but we have installed some new technology in our irrigation system for town parks that is capable of being shut off if there's rain, responding to actual needs. There's no doubt we should basically be watering just as little as we can get away with and still keep the grass decent. Maybe not top notch. And
I would
that's,
say we added that system into our irrigation in our personal yard last year, and our water use went drastically down. It was very cool, because ours is, I think, what you guys have installed too, where it knows, it senses if it rains, or the rain forecast, our sprinklers did not go off, we used way less water, and our grass has never looked better. It's awesome. So I hopefully that will be the same for the town.
Have we historically seen any significant or notable reduction in water usage when we just do the stage one? Do you have any data to support that?
I think we've seen it go up.
it seems to be.
So it almost seems,
I think the key is education. I think we need to, if presuming we do it just because it's the right thing to do, then we really, I mean, I would say we need to
step up,
go door to door. We need to like print out an 8.5 by 11 that we have the town crew go around and put on the store. It explains the situation with our water this year and says, we've really got to be careful. And I mean, I know we put it on the water bill. The problem with water bills is that most people don't even see it.
Well, and then ways in which to be careful, like.
That would be good, yep.
Instead of just, like,
Saying
as part of
careful.
the education not being, you should use less water. The education being like, perhaps this is how you could use less water, right? The whole not watering in the middle of the day, you know, like all the basic things, I think, actual taking it further than saying, hey, this we're asking you not to use as much water. Here are ways that you could use less water.
Absolutely.
But I think some of the word of mouth stuff, Josie, talking about your experience with installing something that may seem like a large upfront cost.
It was, but it's where
Sorry, I'm planting a lawn at my house, but it's all native grasses, so it's gonna use a lot of water this year and then hopefully be better. You know, I think continuing to raise those pieces, and just our move away from turf grass in those private spaces, but whereas I think it's different in this communal space.
So, yeah, no, I'll speak from the public works or parks perspective, but yeah, thanks for bringing up the smart controllers and the weather sensors. Those have been installed on majority of zones and majority of the parks, and I think that will help tremendously. And then Terry, you had a question about just want to make sure we kind of go back to
whether we actually notice a dip in water.
Oh, yeah, I think that just depends on the year. I mean, last year, I remember making the comment that when we enacted, it was last year, we enacted voluntary water restrictions, there did seem to be a decrease in production almost immediately, and then kind of reverted back to what would seem like normal. And I think it really just depends on the amount of outreach. We're already going to go way over budget on our advertising the plane dealers because of some of the ads we've been doing for Beaver Creek, which include all the messaging you all were just kind of talking about, links to those ways of dwindling your water use inside your home, outside your home, et cetera. And so we are trying to hit that stuff. John, yeah, we've talked about potentially the need to go door to door with a flyer. I don't know that we're kind of there yet, or at least we don't have it on our schedule today or tomorrow, but we may get there.
Or a mail.
But like the sustainability has a spot on the website, right? Some stuff could be there. You know, things like cutting your grass less often, right? I only have a little bit and it just grew there on its own. But I know if I don't cut it, it'll stay green. And if I cut it, it turns brown unless I'm watering it. So I'm like, man, I just leave it. I think it's fine.
I think what I was getting at, Preston, wasn't more advertising. I do think it's the door to door, and I think it's the social community moves away from the close cropped grass. Like my grandfather's yard, fortunately, he lived in an area of lots of water, like gives me anxiety thinking about the amount of water that went into the golf course putting green lawn that he maintained.
I literally am trying to convince my mom in Ohio to grow a clover yard instead of a grass yard. She's like, no. You're
But I think it's the social shifts, and I guess that's what I'm arguing, is we're just kind of making a change.
Are there?
Well, to touch on that real quick, I don't know if any of you all have received like questions either by phone, email, or just hanging out at Colorado Boy, but I've gotten, I tend to exaggerate, but I've gotten somewhere between 5 and 10 emails and a couple phone calls from folks wondering if we are already in water restrictions, what's gonna happen based on what is going on at Beaver Creek. So I think there is some, I don't wanna say there is a shift, but folks do understand that there's a problem.
Very similar, yes.
You know, generally, and at least some do. So I think that's wonderful and important to acknowledge. So we just need to do the best we can to help drive that home even more.
But I think there's a balance there because next year, even if there's not a problem, we're gonna make some of the same requests if we're still in this drought cycle, which we most likely are, right? It's not gonna just be about a shortage of water. It's about trying to use less water if we can, always.
We had such little water.
Just be good stewards of the resource.
Yeah, so just saying we may not want to push that too far because then we come back next year and go, oh, and even though that's not an issue, same thing in place.
Well, hopefully with the diversion, then
I lost
so much water, we never have to worry about it again.
I lost 2 of my 4 trees.
Yeah, but no,
Winter.
not with climate change, that's the planting of the native grasses, because it's the long-term action.
Are there commonly available water restriction devices like they used to see the shower restrictors that we could either source to offer for sale or offer a rebate for to support this?
For irrigation.
No, for your shower, for inside your house. We could do 5-gallon buckets with the Tesla on it that you could put in the shower and collect the water while it's heating up. And then you could use that.
That's
to
what
take care of that
California's
inside.
looking to do. Serious. Yeah, it's an idea, Terry, but we're never gonna get people to like install low flow shower.
Well, not
Suggested
not
to Jay,
force
so
them,
we
it could
could
be
go
offered
bucket.
rebates out, so they could go out and get by their own if they wanted.
We could, that seems like really low on the priority list in terms of impact. The irrigation is the biggest problem. By far.
Because we don't have a problem in the winter.
I'm so happy to see in the
And all those
manager's
swimming
report, the irrigation system that's getting put in place, so it's going to help alleviate some of these issues that we're facing right now.
Yeah, shout out.
Discussing.
Hey, Steven.
Worked really hard on
Okay, so in the interest of moving forward, we need a motion on this and then, staff can be directed to continue to look at ways to do outreach and make sure people continue to get the message that there's not only a need to be really careful on water use this year, but there are ways to do it effectively and give them suggestions for that, right?
Oh, one last thing, not to prolong it, sorry. Our parks, the non-potable side of the system is one of the biggest users, right? And so, I appreciate the conversation about, well, should we be using so much in the parks? Well, it's a pretty important amenity for everyone, so I recognize that as well. Like a lot of our parks aren't even charged up fully yet, so we haven't even started watering. We've done our best to communicate to some stakeholders like Erie County Baseball and soccer club, and then we need to do some more outreach to stakeholders here in the park that we're not going to be watering like we have in past years. And so I say all that to just say our non-potable irrigation numbers, I know for a fact are going to look dramatically different than they have in past years. So we just wanted to say that.
And I think if we're careful, we can do that and have minimal impact on, I think the grass is gonna look a little more brown, but it's not gonna be patchy and dead. It's just gonna be.
We're gonna have to pay a lot more attention to it.
Yeah. So.
Maybe you want to bird and the cost of replacement.
Yeah, even more.
Way more, yeah.
All right.
Cool. I move to promulgate stage 1 voluntary water restrictions for the town of Ridgway.
Second.
Motion by Polly, second by Terry, all in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously, thank you. That brings us to the additional item, which was, remind me, Preston.
There's a couple more before
Oh,
that, actually.
I was just going through the packet. Thank you. Charging stations, discussion about the 2 charging stations out here in the parking.
Yes, yeah, thank you. And so, within the last year, we've had some troubles with those EV chargers. The need for parts, the equipment's just aging, and largely obsolete. The provider outdated, that's a better word. Key 2 Systems, I think, is the company that we received that charging infrastructure for the equipment from, and somewhere around 2017. And they've worked really well, but the last year's been kind of a struggle. And so we're in the process of looking at new equipment, and we've been exploring and doing research on like the charging ownership models out there. Of course, ours is the most simple model. It seems like we get a company to come in and maintain the equipment, help us maintain the equipment, but the town underwrites the electricity, which is wonderful. And so the question came up on whether Town Council wanted to continue to elect to underwrite people's electricity use at those EV chargers, which would help us continue to go down this path of finding some different equipment, newer equipment to install there. Hope that makes sense.
And the one's been out of order for a while, right? Or both?
Yeah, and what do you think, a couple months now?
At least through my early memory.
So if I'm clear on this, there's kind of 2 questions. The primary question is, do we want to keep underwriting it, or should we maybe go to a paid model like most charging
I
stations?
think D makes sense because we're paying to maintain it. If we want to upgrade it, make them better charge stations, faster charging stations.
And am I correct in that?
But Preston's saying if we underwrite the if we pay for the electricity, there's companies that'll come in and supply the chargers.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
know.
That's
There is
what
a
I
new
wanted.
grant round.
Maybe San Miguel Power wants to do it.
Maybe what?
San Miguel Power wants to do it.
Well, when we talked about Preston, I believe you said that the company that supplied those and has been maintaining them is now telling us that they're basically outdated.
Outdated, yeah, not covered under, actually, we have an outdated service agreement, so we need to renew everything. We need to get new equipment.
And they will supply the new equipment, and it's not that big a deal cost wise.
I don't have it in front of me, but it didn't seem, exorbitant.
Yeah.
And then, but there's, Julie, has been doing some great research, talking with folks at the state level to get their recommendations for companies that deploy the same type of equipment. And so it may behoove us to look at different companies. And then Terry was talking about grant opportunities that are available. So we're well aware of that. We'll take advantage of that when the right time comes.
And we could apply for a grant that supplies one that is like a charge point where rather than underwriting it, it's built into, they use their charge point credit card.
Yeah. I think that's the way we should go. Yeah, it was nice of us to underwrite these for the years that we've done it. It's been at least 10 years. Let's join the rest of the world and have people actually pay for it.
By the way, SMPA went that route. Initially, they offered the ones in front of SMPA for free, and then you can go and pay for it. I think the same is true with the school. The school originally had.
And same with the space to create stations.
So is that, do you just need direction on that, or do you need motion?
I didn't, well, like I could get some nodding heads or something.
I think we should switch to the pay model.
Switch to a pay model.
Switch to a paid model and
Concession, yeah.
Get the,
Just want to make sure.
try and find a good deal on some new ones.
Thank you. That was it.
That's it, okay. Item number 19, happy to announce that we gave our, and I'd forgotten that we increased the scholarship to 1,500 this year. And it went to the.
Hey, John, can we go back? I'm sorry. I
Oh,
actually was
okay.
sitting here waiting for this discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've been so good all night about asking for comments and I forgot on this one. Apologies. Go ahead.
So I just want to clarify that you guys are not talking about increasing the number of EVs charging stations?
No, we're not.
Okay, because the way it looks on the agenda, it looked like you were going to do more. And I was definitely opposed to more unless they were going to try and like cover them up for events or something. because,
Yeah, taking up more spaces. would not be
Updating the
good.
existing.
No, it's just, regarding the ones that are existing in the Hartwell Park. parking lot.
okay.
Just
And
so-
then I guess I would say I personally agree to going to the charging model. I don't think we should be underwriting that anymore.
Good, good,
Thanks. I just wanted to clarify it wasn't more.
great. And I apologize for not asking you already. So thanks for.
Thanks, Alan.
All right, so, I was starting to say, we gave, and I handed it to her in person today to Lauren Mullen, who is the
Nice.
advisory council mayor this year, so she got the $1,500 scholarship. And then the added item was,
Oh, yeah, discussion about a special council meeting later this month, and just a reminder, not a reminder, I mentioned at the beginning, but Joanne and I were talking today with Michelle and Alan, who are on the respect team. And based on the timeline of their work and where we're at with the alternatives analysis, we will need to get, some firm direction or a decision on a concept level alternative to move forward with at the Beaver Creek diversion point. We've had a number of meetings now, and I think they're honing in on a concept that at least on the respect team side, they'd like to recommend, minimizes risk, be more resilient to what we saw last August kind of thing. And so again, looking to set a special meeting to get that presented to you all in a public forum and then get the direction.
Okay.
so you're talking the week of the 26th?
Yeah, and that's Memorial Day, the 26th, I think.
Yeah.
So it'd be the Wednesday after Memorial Day?
It doesn't need to be any certain day that week. I think you would probably say again.
Can we not do Wednesday? That's my wedding anniversary. I'd prefer.
I have a Sherburne board meeting that night as
Yeah,
well.
not until the 29th.
It's the 29th, Thursday.
29th.
Are you available the 29th?
Yeah, I'm available.
Okay. That whole week's crazy. Just pick a day. It's fine. They're all gonna be.
I'm open.
And it's probably an hour tops, right?
I don't
Hard to-
think
hard to
it's
say.
an hour, but I mean, we want to be comprehensive and make sure everyone understands the thought process that went into it. And,
So you think like 5 p.m.
it's a lot of it's very technical, so we're gonna want to be able to, depict exactly what the structures might look like and put it in layman's terms kind of thing. So, I would book an hour.
Okay, well, should we say 5:30 on the 29th? Does that work for everybody? As well as anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, fifth grade graduation. is-
And Preston will send out a calendar.
That's what did you say?
I got enough.
Fifth grade graduation, so I'm gonna be there for Harvey, but I could do 5:30, that's fine.
Change yours to 6.
5:30.
5:30.
So you'll send out a calendar.
I will send all of it out, saying, and everyone's okay with that?
Yep,
Yeah,
Sorry to spring it on y'all.
it's all good.
another easy meeting.
We have an executive session.
So we're not doing it.
Not related, but when is the high school's graduation parade? That's all get.
It's the 23rd on the town park stage. Also item number 20 under written and verbal reports is, I'm happy to announce that I've decided to appoint Russ Meyer to fill the vacancy left by Russ Meyer.
No, it was mine,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
technically.
Anyway, we had two, very, capable and knowledgeable, applicants. The other one was Doug Canright. But I felt like, Russ, with his current experience on planning commission and his many years and his passion for it, after talking to both of them, I decided to appoint Russ. So he's been notified, as has Doug. So that takes us to town manager's report.
Love your Valley's on Saturday?
Yeah.
You all can be there. This wasn't in the report, but Julie called with Ridgway County Vegetation Management, asked me to plug that they are hosting a weed pull event this Saturday as well at the Ridgway State Park Dallas Creek entrance by the southernmost bathrooms from 9 to 11 a.m. Again, that's this Saturday. Adopt a Highway, we did pinpoint June 21 as the best date to move forward with, unless anyone has any objections, but I already sent a little calendar invite. I'll send more information in the coming weeks, but thanks for doing the doodle poll there.
Will we meet here in carpool or something like that? Or wherever
Right
it's
outside of town.
What we usually do is just meet at the top of the hill.
Okay.
You know, since the instructions on the exact mile marker to be at.
All right.
And actually, as the newest member, she's got to watch the video.
Have to clean the
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah.
No, just there's, the highway department requires that you watch some, did you never do?
I was like, I'm gonna watch a video and I'm doing cleaning.
Safety video, don't
It's
step out of the street.
Don't pick up
Yes,
meth
yes,
lab into your.
yes, I watched that already.
Don't pick up meth, don't pick up meth lab.
I definitely watched
That's
that.
Basically.
Hypodermic needles.
That's the
Yeah.
point. The
It's
TLDR.
okay to pick up a Bible. I found a full Bible.
I probably wouldn't want to do that.
You know, picture people throwing a Bible at the window. I'm telling you.
It feels like a.
Couple more things, there's some economic development workshops coming up, one on May 22nd in the Decker Room, and then a follow-up on May 27th, that is a virtual meeting. But though, I think those are gonna be pretty cool opportunities that have been afforded to the town through Downtown Colorado Inc. And also sponsored by OED State, so looking forward to those.
And I'll just add, please, if you have friends that have local businesses, please encourage them to be there. This is a great opportunity for them to be involved in questions that we all are concerned about our future economic success, so.
Definitely. And it's a really cool opportunity that's being provided free.
Yeah.
To the town to do this and have these facilitators that can kind of help guide the process.
Yeah, basically the Colorado Tourism Office, which is part of OED, has paid DCI to do this facilitated workshop, so it's a good deal.
The RFP for the Joint Housing Administrator has been reissued and proposals are due on May 29th, so looking forward to that. The town of Ridgway is now a non-lead system, now that we've completed all aspects of our required service line inventory, just like all of the water systems had to do, so that's wonderful. I alluded to this before, but we have Patrick McGahee, Paul Stanky, Emmy Brown, and Kaden Matsuda Whaling hired to fill the park seasonal positions this summer, so that's awesome. We've posted for the executive assistant position here in the town of Ridgway.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And we're still hiring for a regular full-time public works maintenance operator 1, 2, or 3 position. Have to answer any questions.
Preston, I was trying to extract the graphics from your report for like the pickleball event and the economic development thing. Will you send me those so I can share them on Instagram on my mail account?
Yeah, which one's the pickleball and
the economic development one? Seems like there's another one.
You want those JPEGs?
Yeah. Yeah, just those two, it looks like. Thank you.
Yep.
Comments, questions? What do you think of the jokes?
I liked the jokes. I thought they were dumb.
I
liked the Kier one.
I liked Ryan's, that was good.
Sorry, Bill.
Yours was okay.
I did read it to Nick and he went,
I can learn as a person. I appreciate the feedback and we'll, do better next time. So
I do like that you are now required to submit a joke. That does bring me a little bit of.
So for those of you in the audience who don't know, we have a tradition started by Preston, and he joined us as our latest town manager, to have jokes at the end of his town manager report. Levity in the room, which is always welcome. So the jokes of the day this month, first one is from Ryan Hansen, Sergeant in the Ridgway Marshal's Department. A virus is going around making people forget 80s rock bands. Nobody knows the cure.
Yeah, pretty funny.
I like that one.
And then bonus from Bo Nerlin, town attorney. What do you say when you lose a quarter of your roof? Oof.
I thought that was, especially given the wind.
They usually always that bad.
I'm not allowed to do jokes no more.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. Don't be put upon. But we welcome all comers. Anybody want to throw out a joke, send it to Preston. He'll put it in the report. All right, anybody, there's not many people left in the room, a few people on Zoom. Anybody have comments or questions about the town manager's report? Okay, hearing none, I think we have to finish with a executive session.
Are we doing other reports? We're gonna say.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Terry, you've always got a report, don't you?
Yeah, I'll just give a quick SAB meeting report. We had three items. The first one was to discuss a ribbon cutting event at the Space Degree building for the microgrid. And we're looking at trying to pick a date, looking at first Fridays in order to attract more people. One of the options that came up was concurrent with the what do you call it, the ceremony for the mural,
on the 20th?
On the 20th. That may be short notice to get everything together. It looked like we're gonna have 4 groups participating. The SAB, this will be one of their annual work plan items to have public outreach. So we're gonna have an SAB presence, probably highlighting the master plan and the strategic plan and the work plan that we're doing for SAB. Eco Action Partners will probably be there. SMPA will be there, having sponsored the grant. And DOLA has agreed to show up to be there for that event as well. There'll probably be refreshments and some presentations, maybe a couple movies and some kid events.
And that's separate from what Wiley was trying to set up for next week.
That's different.
That's a precedent.
That's a press.
I would just throw out, I'd rather you didn't do it the same day as the mural thing. I'd like that to have its own focus and kind of watered
Okay,
down.
we were just thinking that would get a lot of people on the street for that.
but that wouldn't be a first Friday, so you'd still have the first Friday option.
Right. There's some of the first Fridays have art exhibits already booked for them. So, the room is already booked essentially.
Well, but
I
I
don't
mean,
know
to have
if
an
they
art
have
exhibit in a
those
room wouldn't be,
You might want to check. I don't know that they have one. It might just be the existing one, which already opened last month.
and I think I like having an art exhibit happening there while we do it.
Okay, let's look at the feedback. I'll take it to the SAB.
Okay.
Second was, we did codify the slight wording change to the net zero carbon emission goal. And we did have 5 citizens show up to learn more about that resolution and also express their opinions on the potential new code adoption that has the all electric ready, EV ready, PV ready provision, and the possibility of the stretch goal of going all electric for new construction by some undetermined date. So I want to thank those who showed up for coming. We never had any citizens show up to the SAP meeting before, so that was a welcome addition to the meeting. And then third, I sent out that email to y'all to weigh in on the various funding scenarios for the Eco Action Partner funding for next year. I did get 3 responses. They were all very consistent, so I'll combine those and submit that to the SEB, which is the Snuffles Energy Board. So that's all I had for that. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a committee report?
The planning commission continues to review the master plan.
Looks like we have some actual action items on our agenda for next week.
You saw the agenda?
No, I've just seen signs around town.
I have to.
At the chamber meeting this last week, I got to see a draft, it's almost finished, of the 1-minute video that they just did. It'll be a new advertising video for the town of Ridgway. This is the winter one. They're also gonna be shooting summer scenes here. It's Ashley Perkins got a grant to help pay for, they're gonna be doing the advertising at the baggage claim in Montrose Airport. It's very cool.
And that's where the video will show. Cool.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm really, really excited for everybody to see it, so.
Great.
Yeah, kudos to Ashley for getting all the local talent together to be the actors in it, and the photographer, videographer, they hired did a really great job. So it's gonna be very cool, and they did last week.
And it's completed. So maybe we get access to that for this ribbon cutting event. We're hoping to stream a bunch of stuff on the screen during that.
Yeah, they're the final, they're like 99% done. I can't share it publicly until they get the go ahead because we would get trouble with the state, but yeah. So yeah, reach out to me, yeah. I'll get you a link. Yeah.
Just remind me, I just found out about a new thing, this is kind of a weird non sequitur, but it's the Copenhagen, Denmark Tourist Green Initiative. They like work with tourists, so like you would get, instead of doing like going to the main spots in town or whatever, like they help like do things in parks, they help go like pull bad weeds, and like people sign up for these programs. So remind me, I'll chat with you about that to maybe do something fun and green and helpful for town while still having a cool, growing tourism economy. That's good.
Whatever happened to our Arkansas buddies?
Well, they're still working, I think.
Fort Smith.
Anything else? Okay, then I guess we need to have a citation on the executive session vote.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Night, y'all.
All right, are we ready?
Yep.
If we could get a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 24-6-4024B for the purpose of receiving legal advice regarding the town of Ridgway access to the Beaver Creek diversion and the Ridgway ditch.
So moved.
Second.
Pam's not here. We might want to pause. I'm right here. Okay.
So we have a motion.
Yes, I move.
Hold on a second. Michelle made the motion, Terry seconded, but I want to make sure Pam gets that.
Pam, I made the motion to go into an executive session for legal advice, as Bo stated, for the Beaver Creek diversion, right?
And Terry seconded.
And Terry second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, it is Wednesday, May 14th. The time is 7:37 p.m. For the record, I am the town attorney. This is an executive session pursuant to 24-6-4024B for the purpose of receiving legal advice regarding the town of Ridgway's access to the Beaver Creek diversion and the Ridgway ditch. The participants in the executive session are as follows.
Preston Neal.
Joseph Scobell.
Terry Schuyler.
Michelle Montague.
John Clark.
Beth Legan.
Polly Kroger.
Pam Croft.
Joanne Fagan.
And Bo Nerlin. I caution each participant to confine the discussion for the stated purpose of the executive session. And if any point in the executive session, any person believes we go outside the proper scope of the executive session, please interrupt the discussion and make an objection. As the attorney for the town of Ridgway, it is my position that the matter for executive session constitutes privileged attorney-client communication. Therefore, I'm recommending that no recording of this executive session be kept. The time is 7:57 p.m. We have concluded the executive session pursuant to 24-6-4024B for the purpose of receiving legal advice regarding town of Ridgway's access to the Beaver Creek diversion and the Ridgway ditch. The participants in the executive session were as follows.
Preston Neal.
Joseph Scobell.
Terry Schuyler.
Michelle Montague.
John Clark.
Beth Legan.
Polly Kroger. Pam Croft.
Joanne Fagan.
And Bo Nerlin. If any participant believes that we went outside the scope, please make an objection on the record. All right, I'll turn it over to you, Mayor.
Thanks, Bo. Appreciate it. We're back in session, and just remind everyone that this is one of those deals where we don't want to be talking about anything we talked about in executive session with our friends and neighbors in town. Unless there's anything else for the order of business, I will say we are adjourned.
Thanks, Bo. Thanks, Joanne.
Night.
Thank you. I wanted to.